Well, it's that time of the year. A lot of channels are doing their best and their worst of the year. But I can't do my best movies of the year yet because I have not seen enough movies. There's still a lot of movies I have not seen that need to see. And also, in case you didn't know, for the longest time I was doing like a countdown from 1990 to hopefully present day of top 10 films each year. And I did that. I did like from 1990 to 2004. If you want to look at those videos, go back on my channel and look them up. But I will be doing another one of those that is kind of a redux, a revisit to those videos, and as quick as I can just try to go over all those years and just make my final changes, because when I made those videos I was a bit younger, and you know, 1998 Godzilla was in my top 10 movies of the year. That has to be fixed, okay? But I'm going to talk about the top 10 worst movies of the year. These are the cinematic atrocities that don't deserve to exist. If you wasted your time watching them, we all have support groups about it, okay? You can come join and we can all cry together that we spent time on some of these pieces of shit. Got my laptop right here and I'm gonna look at some of the ones I have not seen. First off, I have not seen Exodus Gods and Kings. I heard that was a really big piece of crap. I have not seen Dracula Untold. Again, an even bigger piece of crap. The Purge Anarchy. The first Purge had me excited at first. The concept seemed like that could be really cool. And then you watch the movie and you realize the concept sounds cool, but in reality it's full of plot holes and it makes no sense. And the movie was shit, full of cliches everywhere, and some of the stupidest characters I've seen in a movie ever. Ethan Hawke seems like the only smart person in the movie besides the mom, and even she at times made questionable decisions. I feel like reviewing the movie now because it is such a piece of shit. Those kids in that movie deserve to die. Ethan Hawke should have shot them, okay? He should have shot his kids and his wife, all high and mighty at the end, and then, oh god, I hate that movie. And the Purge Anarchy, nice idea. It seemed like, oh, this could be different. Instead of the one house horror element, here's a more action element. It's kind of like The Punisher. I've heard is just as bad, just as stupid, except now it's more action oriented on the streets. But I've still heard it's just as stupid as the first. Fucking yay! That's what I wanted. Just another stupid franchise that goes year to year. Like we didn't get enough of that with Saw and Paranormal Activity, although I like the third one, but we don't need more of these yearly things where it's horror and every year we'll get a new one, because they suck, okay? They all suck. I have not seen Annie, but I've heard it is a terrible musical, and it is one of 3 Cameron Diaz movies to come out this year that all suck ass. I've not seen Annie. I will not put forward money to see Annie. I don't care. I don't care to see Annie be revitalized and rebooted by adding synth, auto-tune, sounding garbage songs, okay? Not needed. I've not seen Sin City 2. I've heard a lot of people say it's bad. I'm holding out that I enjoy it, but I've not seen it yet, so I guess I'll find out. I also have not seen Blended. I heard, yeah, it's not awful, but it's not good. I've heard it's like merely just watchable, like you won't hate yourself, but it's still not good. I don't know. I have not seen the Nicolas Cage shit show known as Left Behind, but I've seen a lot of clips and I know that it is a bad movie. And Annabelle, I could not care less. I heard it was shit, didn't see it. That goes for I, Frankenstein, As Above, So Below, Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, and Devil's Due. Just shit horror that I heard was shitty and never saw. At best, I could have went and watched it just to put on this list, but turns out I saw enough shitty stuff I didn't have to. And before I get the list started, here's some honorable mentions of movies that just deserve to be called out, because I thought they were bad. They need to be mentioned, even though they're not quite bad enough to fit on the list. Non-Stop, starring Liam Neeson. You know what? I like Liam Neeson. He's really good in The First Taken. I like him in a lot of movies. Schindler's List. He's a good actor. This movie was stupid. The movie was poorly written, and the acting is kind of alright from Liam Neeson, but Julianne Moore in the movie, she's wasted. The movie feels like it's just constantly trying to lure you, like it's gonna be this, know this. And then when you get the twist, it's like, that's kind of stupid and came out of nowhere. And there's so many red herrings of just, we couldn't be hinting any harder that it's this person doing this. And nope, it's that, like, just so stupidly written. It was kind of interestedly directed with the whole, because there's a lot of texting going on and the way they kind of show that in the movie. There was some interesting directing elements to it and editing, but the writing is just so poor in the movie. By the time it's over, you just go like, well, fuck, yeah, that movie sucks. By the time you get the payoff and the twist and all that, it's like, ah, this blows. The Nut Job, an unfunny animated movie that gives animated movies a bad name. Not to mention in the credits, they fit Cyan for no reason to do Gangnam Style. Why? Because they wanted to trick people into thinking they had a good time at the movie. Planes, Fire and Rescue, a movie that looks good, good animation, but is boring and uninteresting and is nothing but a long training montage, basically. Dusty Crop Hopper, we're gonna teach you how to be a firefighter, and then you'll fight a fire. End of movie. Wow, that's the best you could do. Thanks, Disney. It's a good thing they made Big Hero 6, or this year would have been the year Disney didn't get an Oscar, but I bet Big Hero 6 will get them one. Transcendence. From the cinematographer of Chris Nolan movies comes a boring-ass movie about Johnny Depp becoming a computer. Wally Pfister is a good cinematographer. He does a lot of good work on Chris Nolan movies. It sort of looks like he's doing his best to impersonate Chris Nolan, except it's just so boring, uninteresting, and lifeless acting. Johnny Depp in the movie, the whole movie just sucks. It's boring. And that's the worst a movie can do. A movie can be stupid but entertaining. This one's trying to be so smart, but it's just so boring. Christopher Nolan made a movie that's just so hard to understand. Interstellar, a Chris Nolan movie, is so hard to understand at times and so crazily, so all over the place and epic, and it wants to do so much, but it never felt boring necessarily to me. This one, from a guy that's worked with Chris Nolan, made nothing but a boring piece of crap. Winter's Tale. Colin Farrell's hair looks stupid, not to mention the movie's just goofy. There's parts of it I did like, but it's directed by Akiva Goldsman, the guy who wrote Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. I think he wrote both those. And yeah, the guy, he's not a good writer. He's not a very good director either. The hilarious imagery of seeing Russell Crowe and Colin Farrell just riding like flying horses that are ghosts just made me laugh. It's stupid, okay? It's ridiculous. And then you get Will Smith in a cameo as the devil, and I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or not, but I thought it was really funny. Yeah, the movie's just silly and stupid. I enjoyed parts of it, but it is a silly, stupid movie. That it doesn't deserve to be on the list, but it deserves to be mentioned because they just botched what little they had. Movies in beloved franchises that don't live up to the hype or just don't do well. And what I'll say is, I enjoy these movies enough. They definitely have problems. Problems with acting, problems with direction, problems with writing for sure, and yet I bought both of them. Yeah, I bought them both. Amazing Spider-Man 2, terrible writing. The Rhino is awful. It deserves to be mentioned. How basically they repeated Spider-Man 3. But they have the best Spider-Man, so I had to buy it because it's the best Spider-Man. But as a movie, it's structured terribly, terribly written, and yeah, it's bad, a lot of it. Ninja Turtles, again, I like parts of it. You know, Michelangelo gets a little annoying with it. It's just constantly, April, I want to bang ya. Ooh, like, it's creepy. Megan Fox isn't that great. Will Arnett is fucking annoying. The humor at times felt really childish, and the story was so dumb. Not the origin or anything, I actually appreciate that they're trying something different, but the idea of, we will basically kill half the people in New York, and then we will run New York, and I will become stupid rich. I'm already rich, but I want to be stupid rich. By killing everyone and getting their money, and then doing nothing with it because everyone's dead. But I'll be stupid rich. They're bad. The ones on the list are even worse. My number 10 I reviewed not too long ago. I saw it a couple months ago, but I only posted the review more recently. And I had a lot of fun reviewing it because it was really bad, but the effects were good. Into the Storm. Acting, writing was awful. Characters made such stupid decisions. Like a guy that was, you know what, I don't want to chase tornadoes anymore. I basically want to quit. But then there's a giant tornado coming towards them. And he's like, wait, I'll film it for you, even though I want to quit. The guy wants to quit. He's like, I'm not into this, I want to go home. But for some reason, he'll run up 10 feet from a tornado. The guy that wants to quit and doesn't like tornadoes runs up 10 feet in front of it and gets sucked in. That's what you get, idiot. You didn't want to do this. Why would you put your life on the line for the guy? But at least the tornado was full of fire at one point. There was a fire tornado. That was cool. 8 tornadoes joined together. That was cool. The effects were good. The movie itself was crap. Number 9, Ouija. It's based on a board game. A board game that doesn't work. You know, you're all just sitting there and then one of you moves it to be funny. It's shit. If you haven't seen my trailer review, go watch that. I watched the trailer for the movie and my reaction, yeah, that was a funny trailer to me. And the movie was bad. Poorly written, poorly acted. It was all crap, okay? It's stupid, not scary, full of jump scares. Number 8, A Haunted House 2. If you thought the first one was bad, it was. If you thought the second would be worse or a little bit better, I guess that depends on where your humor level lies. If you're 13, you probably thought it was hilarious. For everyone else, it was shit. I like the first 2 Scary Movie movies. Did that come out right? Scary Movie 1 and 2 I thought are funny enough. I rewatched them recently. They're still funny enough. They're stupid, juvenile, but I enjoy them enough to be entertained a little bit. 3 and 4 I was like, I kind of thought they're entertaining, but at the same time they are shit. And everything else is shit. Epic movie, disaster movie, A Haunted House 1, dance flick, all these movies, Meet the Spartans, they're all crap, okay? The Starving Games, I saw that trailer, I wanted to shoot myself, okay? That's how unfunny it was. It's anti-funny. These movies they're killing parody. Parody is no longer even thought of as a good means. Like, think of classics. I didn't really love, what was it, Young Frankenstein? The Mel Brooks one. I didn't like it that much. There was funny parts, but you know, there's some classics like Airplane, the Hot Shots movies. Frickin' Spaceballs is one of my favorite movies of all time. That movie's hilarious. And those were like great. And now, when you think of parody spoofs, it's the Starving Games and shit like that. How the mighty have fallen. These movies aren't funny. It's just, what movie came out this year? Okay, let's make fun of it with the least intelligent, least thought out jokes possible. Hit someone in the nuts, have a fart joke, have a racist joke, sex joke. Did you hit someone in the nuts? Do it 5 more times. Number 7. A movie that had me slightly, like, intrigued, but at the same time, I sort of knew it'd suck, and it defied expectations. The Expendables 3! I like the director's cut for the first one, I don't like the second, and the third one might be the worst. The more I think about it, the more I think that I could argue it is the worst. You take Expendables, which is supposed to be 80s throwback, it should have blood, over-the-top lines here or there, great action, and what does it have? A couple not even clever lines here or there, no blood, and piss poor action that is edited around the non-violence. You see Wesley Snipes slit a throat and then it cuts away immediately, and all this shooting and stuff. If you see someone get shot, chances are you saw the dust fly out because that's all they can show. And yeah, I've not seen the director's cut. That could be good, I don't know, but I doubt it. The original cut is what I'm talking about, and it's crap. Edited around all the violent action, all the stuff that isn't, is dust flying out. You got all these young people that weren't needed. Expendables is about the old people. The old people! I came here to see Arnold Schwarzenegger be like, I'm back! And start shooting shit up and blood squirts everywhere. But why is Victor Ortiz in this? It's like a young kid He's not an action hero! Get him out! Kellen Lutz? Why the fuck is he in this movie? Twilight Boy? He was also in Legend of Hercules? We're gonna hear about that in a minute. He needs to be in this with people like Arnold? They don't deserve it. Ronda Rousey's kind of, sort of, possibly becoming a new action hero. She's going to be in a couple other movies. So maybe? But you don't need to put future action stars in here, okay? If you have Dwayne Johnson, that's fine, because he actually is solidified at this point. Don't add people that's like, we believe eventually they will be action heroes. Because it doesn't work out like that. They want to give us the old people, but they also want to give us new people to get the kids in to see the watered down shitty action, and I hate this movie! Number 6, talking more about bad sequels, Dumb and Dumber 2. I tried to go easy on this movie. It's so hard to though. You take a movie I really enjoy like the first one, and then just repeat it, take all the same jokes and premise pretty much, hammer it home that it's the same, right? It's exactly the same. It's not as funny. All the new jokes are too juvenile. It's not nearly even close to being as funny. You take Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, who do their damn best. They try their hardest, and they can get some laughs out, but for the most part, it's an unfunny mess, and I don't like watching it. It makes me feel bad, okay? The more I think about it, it's just, there was parts that made me laugh, but the parts that didn't, there was so much more of that. There were so much more uncomfortable moments of not laughing because it's not funny, and it just thinks it is as funny. This movie sucks. Number 5, The Legend of Hercules. I never thought I'd say it, but I think a Brett Ratner version of a movie is much better. Rennie Harlan is a kinda competent director at times. I really enjoy Die Hard 2, and you know what? Somehow I kinda like 12 Rounds, another movie he made that's practically a Die Hard with a Vengeance ripoff. Okay, I'll admit, I only like it because I used to like John Cena when I watched wrestling, but that was like almost 10 years ago. Rennie Harlan went from Die Hard 2, and 12 Rounds can be included, just keeps making worse and worse movies. Whatever style he might have had is gone, and in this movie it shows that he's just ripping off anyone else's style. 300 worked with the slow motion, speed up slow motion. Let's do that. Whatever worked in this movie, just take it. I have no style or taste. Just rip everyone else off, put it in this movie. Get Kellen Lutz, a guy that can't act. He was in Twilight. If you're not sure about his acting talents, go check him out in that. Yeah, we'll make him Hercules, and it's shit, okay? It's garbage. It rips off Gladiator, 300, it's just, oh my god. The movie's so incompetent in having its own style, its own anything. Terrible writing, terrible direction, terrible acting. This movie sucks, and I regret watching it. However, the Hercules movie with Dwayne Johnson is kind of fun. Dwayne Johnson throws a horse in that movie. The next two movies I talk about are awful. And fun coincidence? They're the other two Cameron Diaz movies. My number 4, Sex Tape. Jason Segel's the guy that I find very funny a lot of times. Not in this movie, Cameron Diaz. You know, The Mask and, There's Something About Mary? Shrek? There's a couple times where you can say, yeah, I like Cameron Diaz. Charlie's Angels, I even like her, and that's my favorite Cameron Diaz movie. But she's not funny. Jason Segel's not funny. It's from the director that made Bad Teacher. They were both in that. That movie is shit too. That movie's awful, actually. I wanted Cameron Diaz dead in that movie. I hated her character in that. And the guy, basically, his mediocrity never ends because he brought it all to this movie. And this movie's this movie's not funny at all. It's brutally unfunny. When the most relevant and funny joke is talking about how you don't understand, well, I don't know how to get the sex tape out of the cloud. It's the cloud. Nobody gets it. Like, when that's the funniest, most relevant joke that we can all agree with, it's like, what the fuck are you doing making movies? My number 3. Oh, Cameron Diaz, you don't stop. This movie's supposed to be it sort of advertised itself as like, fun movie for all the girls. I'll go out and see it, it'll make you feel empowered. Sort of like female empowerment, it'll be fun. The Other Woman. Oh my god. This movie's one of the worst movies of the year for sure. In my review, I talked about a lot. I hated this movie. Kate Upton's in there with her giant boobs and her terrible acting. Her acting's so bad, they don't even cut to her half the time. Watch the movie, it's actually kind of funny. Go to it, every time she's talking, like a scene with her, the camera barely ever goes to her unless it wants to focus on how hot she looks. Like if it's her boobs, we'll show you. Otherwise, the camera never goes to her because she can't act. It's hilarious. Cameron Diaz, Leslie Mann are talking, Kate Upton like, alright, show her, alright, go away. Don't even let her finish the sentence. It's so brutally bad. Like, when the camera guy won't even show you in the movie because you're acting so bad, you know something's wrong. Cameron Diaz is a bitch and unlikable in this movie. Kind of like every other movie she makes lately. There's so little humor in this movie that makes me laugh. There's a couple times, a couple little pebbles in a pile of shit. That's about it. Where it's like, heh, she fell out a window. Like, the best part, I guess, would be Leslie Mann, who is a good comedian and is generally funny in this movie. She's crying too much. She's way too over the top half the time. She's still funny for the most part. Terrible. This whole movie is just female empowerment by talking about men, obsessing over men, and doing nothing but men. Female cliches galore. It's just all the cliches of women, where if you're a girl seeing this movie, it's supposed to be like fun to watch, but instead it's like a 2-hour movie of them going, women are like this in the most cliched, terrible way possible. I would be offended if I was a woman watching this. My number 2, another unfunny comedy from a woman, her and her husband. You know Melissa McCarthy? I enjoy her a lot in Bridesmaids. I kind of like her in The Heat. There's parts where it's like, that's not really that funny, but for the most part she was good in that. At times she's really fucking funny. In Tammy, it was awful. Again, comedy with so little humor in it. Her and her husband basically make somewhat of a passion project. Yeah, let's highlight how funny my wife is, right? Let's do that. And then when the movie's over, it's like, did you and your wife have a fight or something and you wanted to spite her by making this movie? I don't get it. This was supposed to show how funny she is? You failed. And our number 1 worst movie of the year comes from none other than Michael Bay, a guy who I try to like some of his movies, and I do, but for the most part, hate him and want him to stop making movies altogether. Transformers Age of Extinction. When Transformers Age of Extinction makes Revenge of the Fallen look good by comparison, you've not only done something wrong, you've seriously fucked up what you were trying to do, gone all the way around, and made something that is an atrocious piece of shit to humanity and released it for money to be the most profitable movie of the year. Why did this movie have to be the most profitable movie of the year? No movie made more money this year than Transformers. That's unfair to society. And who do we have to blame? Society! They don't want anything. Fuck logic, fuck all this stuff. I just want to see Transformers fight. Look, a dinosaur. I can't tell what Transformers who except for Optimus Prime. That's fun, right? Yeah! More money. Here, Michael Bay, have as much money as you can handle. $1 billion plus? You even want to try and win an Oscar for it. You crazy son of a bitch. It defies good acting. It makes Mark Wahlberg look like an idiot constantly. I'm an inventor. I'm an inventor. I can invent something really good. But you know, at the same time, maybe the best thing shouldn't be invented. Whorish product placement when Mark Wahlberg pops open a Bud Light and just drinks it all right there on the camera for absolutely no reason except Bud Light gave you money and wanted to be featured in the movie. Like half the movie, you could take so many clips and make like a 10-minute video of just whorish product placement by these folks. Terrible acting. Okay, the daughter and her boyfriend stuff, that writing too. The writing in this movie sucks. Using good actors in terrible, terrible roles. When Stanley Tucci is just overacting his ass off. Oh my god! I will fucking hate this movie. It's like Michael Bay wanted to make his grand opus of shit and he's like, Transformers 2 isn't bad enough. I need to make it even worse. I have the perfect movie. And he has the balls to try and win an Oscar for it. He thinks he's good enough to do that, but he can't pull off doing a small advertisement for a TV. Oh. But yeah, those were my shitty movies of the year. They were garbage, absolute ass. I told you about them, although you probably didn't need me to tell you. You probably knew it. What's your worst movies of the year if you want to tell me about them? What do you think of my list? And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.